I'm actually still working on Scorpio, but I think I want to start on my next project. So my next one is gonna be Virgo. So I'm going to start working on the fabric for this. So I have all of the charts here. Let me look for Virgo. I might choose another one just to, okay, here it is. So I'm gonna choose another one so that I could start working on the fabrics for 2 of my next projects. So these are the 2 of my next projects that I'm going to work on next. But I'm going to work on Virgo first, or I'm going to work on the fabric at the same time, but I'm just going to talk about Virgo in this video. I already talked about Aries in my other video, so you'll see the fabric process of Aries in my next one. But yeah, so for Virgo, I want some pinks in the fabric, but I want the base to be white, and I think I might want some like this pastel bluish color if I could make that. I have a couple of different blues and a purple color which is really strong, so I'm going to add just like a drop of that into the blue and see how that turns out. But I want some modeling, pink and blue modeling on a white fabric. I think that's gonna look really good for this chart. So that's the plan, but we'll see how that goes. So from what I learned so far, a little bit goes a long way with these dyes. So this is all the pink that I'm gonna use, like literally a drop or 2. And I'm going to add water to it and dilute that as well. And then this has a little bit of the blue and a little bit of the purple, but I feel like there's too much purple in this. This is what I'm using, and this is the blue. It's actually called aquamarine, but I might have to remake this because I feel like there's too much purple in this. But I'm going to add water up to here and see how that looks. This one as well, I'm going to fill this whole thing with water first and then test it out a little and use it in my fabric. So this is all the water that I'm adding to this because it did get really light, so I stopped at the bottom. But I think I'm going to add more water to this one because it looks really dark. And the purple went away a little, so I think I'm just gonna use this the way it is with more water in it though. But I feel like purple comes out later. So I added more water, so I think this is what I'm gonna use. It is really light, so I don't know. I was thinking about adding more purple, but I don't think I'm going to. I think purple shows up later when it's all dried, when the fabric is dry, so yeah, I don't think I want to add more purple to this. I'm just gonna use this the way it is, and if I need to add more color, I'll just do that later. So this is what it looks like right now. This is the fabric for Virgo. I added the pink and the blue, and this one is for Aries. And because I'm working on these at the same time, I just decided to put these together in the oven so that I could have both fabrics ready at the same time. But yeah, so this I did coffee and tea and then added a little bit of the purple dye without mixing anything. It's just the plain purple with a lot of water in it. But I think it's going to look pretty good. It looks really light, but after I take it out of the oven, I think the color would get darker. Same with this fabric too, so I'm just going to put these in for like half an hour, and I'm going to put it on the bottom rack this time because the last time I think I burned the fabric a little. So this is really hot. I just took it out of the oven, and see, like the blue didn't look like, well, when I added the blue it was more blue than purple, but after being in the oven it looks, why isn't it, okay, it looks a lot more purple than blue. I'm pretty happy with how this looks right now, so I'm not gonna add any more color to it. I think I'm just gonna iron this when I get home. Hi everyone. So this is what it looks like after I got home yesterday. I ironed it and I'm really happy with how this turned out. It is more purple than blue, obviously. Like I'm not really sure if you could even tell like the purple spots because the pink is a lot darker than the purple, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Especially I like how the modeling is more like splotches, like little drops of pinks, just like in the picture with these hearts or butterflies. I think those really complement each other. So I'm really happy with that. I didn't really intentionally do that, but I'm just happy how it came to be like that. So I'm still working on Scorpio, so I might work on this later tonight or tomorrow. But I just want to make sure that I place the design where you can see the modeling better. Like I don't want the design to cover the modeling, so I just need to decide where to place it. And I'm going to start with the hair this time because the past 4 or 5 designs I only worked on the faces of the charts. So this time I want to work on the hair first and then maybe I'll get to the face. So yeah, I'm really happy with how the fabric turned out. I was really nervous about using the purple since the purple is really strong, but I think I just used the right amount of purple. So I'm about to start Virgo and I have everything ready. I have my fabric on my Q-snap and everything. I'm just deciding where to place the design because like I want to use the modeling into the design where like this modeling kind of looks like this hair to me. So if I place the face right here, like the rest of her hair would continue with the modeling, if that makes sense. And I'm also thinking maybe that's kind of stupid. So I can't really decide what I want to do. So I was trying to see what this looks like and I was trying to turn it in all different ways so that I could use the modeling a little. But most of it would just get behind the wings. So I didn't like that. So if I put it like this, like the big modeling would go on the bottom and I don't know. I kind of like the hair idea, but is that kind of stupid? I don't know. I can't decide. Okay, so I think I'm gonna do the hair idea where I use the modeling to continue with the hair. So these are some of the pinks in the hair that I'm gonna use or that's called for. So I'm going to start from the hair, like where the hairline starts, so that the modeling will continue the hair portion of the chart. So this is where I'm gonna start. So I'm going to start a little below the pink modeling so that I don't cover the modeling with just the hair. So I think that's gonna look really good with all the swirls on top. So the modeling will go behind this section right here. Or actually I think I'm gonna start from the top of the hair so that I think that'll make it easier for me to navigate where I'm placing it. So I want the edge of the hair to be right here. So I think that's where I'm gonna start instead of starting from the hairline. So this point will go right here. So I'm going to start from this point and then work my way down, and then you'll see like the modeling behind the hair. That way, like all of these swirl bits would go on top of this modeling. I think that'll look more prettier than what my original idea was. So yeah, I'm going to start from here, and I have all of my DMCs ready. So I'm going to start stitching, and I'll check in when I have some progress to show you. Okay, so it's been about an hour, and this is how much I got done. I'm also working on my Christmas tree by Mirabilia, so I also worked on this as well. I'm also working on a separate video for this, so I'll talk more about that later, but yeah, so this is how much I got done tonight. I think I'm done stitching for tonight, so I'm going to continue to work on this tomorrow, so I'll talk to you later. Hi everyone! So it's been a few days since my last update, but I've been working on Virgo for the past 2 days I think, and I got all of the hair finished except for the beads and whatnot, but yeah, it looks really good. I'm really happy where I placed the design so that the modeling continues to the background. I really like that. So I was going to stop here, but someone wanted to see how I do the face on 40 count. So I think I'm gonna finish the face and also show you how I do the backstitching on 40 counts. So I'm gonna cross stitch the face first, and then I'll check in to talk more about the backstitching. So I'm about to start working on the skin portion of the chart, and this calls for 3 different skin colors. So 407, 754, 948, and it also calls for blends in this chart. So if you see here, there's 4 blends, but 3 of them are the skin colors. So these 2 and this last one. And to make this more efficient, I'm starting with the 407 and work my way to the lighter color. And since I'm stitching this on a 40 count 1/2, if I want to do a blend of these 2, I have to do 1x or 1. Okay, how do I explain this? So I do 1 diagonal for one of the colors, and then I finish off the cross stitch with my second color. I hope that makes sense. And then for my second blend, I do this one first, do all the first leg of the cross stitch with 754, and then finish off that cross stitch with 948 going the other way. So essentially I'm looking at 5 symbols, so one for solid 407 and solid 754 and a solid 948, and then a blend of 407, 754, and 754 and 948. I guess there was only 2 blends. So I just finished all of the cross stitches and like the half leg of the blend with the 407. So when I do the solid 407 cross stitches, I'm also working on the first leg of the blends. So they are solid 407s and also like the 1 diagonal line for the blend. Well, first one of the blends. So my second color is 754, where I'm going to finish off the blend color with this and also work on the 754 solids and also work on my second blend and use this as my first diagonal line. And then I'll finish off like the second blend with the 948. So right now I'm looking at 3 different symbols. So one 754 solids, and one with the blend with the 407, and then the third symbol with the blend with 948. So I'll come back after I finish all of the stitches with 754. So this is what it looks like right now. I finished all of the 754 stuff. So you see like the half stitches and the solids. So I finished the blend with 407 and the solid 754, and also the first leg of the blend with 948. So right now I'm gonna finish all of the half stitches with 948 and then also work on all of the solid 948s. And then the face will be done, except for that little sliver where like the cheek pink portion goes. But other than that, it's all 948s. So I just finished all of the cross stitches and also the blends on the skin. And I'm gonna do the back stitching, but I think I want to finish this cheek portion first. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna set up my phone so that you can see how I backstitch in real time. I just finished the cheeks, so I'm gonna start the backstitching now. For backstitching, it calls for 3 different colors. So for the skin and the eyebrow, it calls for 779, and it calls for 1 strand. But for the eyelashes, it calls for 2 strands of 30-31. But I'm probably going to start with 1 strand, and if I want to add more thickness to it, I'll just go over it again, so that'll make 2 strands. So we'll see how that goes. I want to see what the 1 strand looks like first. And then for the lips, it calls for this water lily color. It's just for the lips. So this is what it looks like on a 32 count, but since I'm working on this on a 40 count, I'm gonna pull the threads a little tighter than I normally would, because I want the backstitching to be as thin as possible, because I can't really split the DMC into 2 to make it thinner. So I guess you could, but I don't want to. So I'm just going to pull the threads a little tighter than I normally would on like a 32 count when I do backstitching. So I'm gonna start with this. This is for the skin and also the eyebrows. And on my 40 count projects, I normally use Bowen's tapestry needle in size 26 or 28. To start, I just tuck it in under a couple of stitches just to hold my ends. I hope this is in frame. I just zoomed in, so I'm not really sure if it's in the center. But I'm starting with a diagonal back stitch, and then usually on a 32 count I would just go a straight stitch until the very edge of the nose without going it one by one, if that makes sense. But this way I feel like the stitches are much more thinner visually instead of doing a straight stitch. So I like to backstitch each stitch and just pull it a little tighter than I would normally do on a regular 32 count backstitching. And if it looks a little thicker, sometimes I would twist the floss, and that makes it a little bit more thinner. But I don't think I need to do that for this project right now. So I just finished the nose. I'm gonna do the chin now. Pulling a little bit tighter each time, especially for the diagonal lines. I pull it a little more harder than I would on a straight stitch. So I'm going to work on my eyebrows, but I'm going to start with one strand of 30-31. So I'm just gonna tuck this in. I just realized I forgot to do the eyebrows when I was working on the face. So I'm gonna go back and do that later, but I'm gonna work on the eyebrows right now. So the eyebrows, it calls for 2 strands on a 32 count, but because I'm working on this on a 40 count, I'm just gonna start with 1 strand. And then we'll see if I wanna go back and do a double backstitch. It is pretty thin. And I'm not pulling as hard as I did for the skin. So that'll make it a little bit thicker. I think I'm gonna go over it one more time. So that'll make it 2 strands. But I'm placing it like right next to the stitches that I just made so that it'll lay next to each other instead of going on top. So it'll visually look thicker. So my second stitch. So yeah, I think I like that. So I'm working on the eyebrows with the 779 again. I can't really see where I'm supposed to. Okay. It's a little confusing because it's in between the stitches across like 3 cross stitches. So I'm just making sure I'm counting correctly. And I have to pierce in between. Oh, I think it's right here. Now I'm gonna do the lips with the called for backstitching hand die. I'm just trying to find the edge where the pink starts. I'm going to use this for backstitching the lips, but also some of the cross stitches with this color, so I'm using a longer length than what I would usually cut for just the backstitching. This also calls for 1 strand, but if I feel like it, I'll go over it again to make it a little thicker. But I'm not gonna pull this as hard as I did for the skin, so I think, and also this is a lot thicker than the regular DMC flosses. So actually, I don't think I'm gonna need to do a double backstitch for this. Yeah, I think I like how this looks right now. So I'm gonna stop here with the backstitching, but I'm gonna start the cross stitches on her neck. So I'm just continuing with the same floss that I was using for the backstitching for the lips. And this is the called for color, so, and also since I'm only using 1 strand for all of this, I could just continue cross stitching after I do the backstitching. So yeah, I think I'm gonna stop here tonight. Yeah, so I hope my backstitching, I don't think you can call this a tutorial, but I hope this helped you if you wanted to stitch on a 40 count and do the backstitching. Yeah, but let me know if you have any questions on stitching on 40 counts. It's one of my favorite fabrics to stitch on, and it seems like a lot of people are kind of scared to stitch on 40 counts, but it's really easy. So if you have questions, I'm happy to answer your questions. So just let me know in the comments. Hi everyone. So I'm checking into, well, I'm actually outroing this video, but I've been working on Virgo the past week, I think. And this is how much I got done on it. And I did talk about how I backstitch on a 40 count last night, so I'll probably put that before this clip, but yeah, let me know if you have any questions on how to stitch on 40 counts, and I'll try to answer them as I'm working on these zodiac girls. So yeah, let me know, and I think I'm gonna end this video here, and I actually started Aries. It's really early in the morning. I already started Aries, but I'm gonna do that in my next video. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.